All right, it's 8:31 and 46 seconds. We are here and we have a quorum. And I wanted to thank you guys for joining us over on this side of the building. Thanks to the city for allowing us to use this space today. And first up, we have public comment. Is there anyone from the public who'd like to comment today? You can head up to that microphone over there. All right, seeing none, our next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Burrow, support?
Support.
I think I heard Commissioner Hennessy over here. So support by Commissioner Hennessy. Are there any changes or questions or comments regarding the minutes? All right, seeing none. So make sure when you turn on your microphones, you press the button if you want to speak, and you can just leave it on and then turn it off when you're done. So all those in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Motion passes. All right, next item on the agenda is from the 63rd District Court. We have a performance measurement review, and we have Danielle Castillo available here with us today. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. All right, can you hear me with the mic? Okay. All right, everyone. My name is Danielle Castillo. I am the court administrator at 63rd District Court. I'm new in this role. I've been there about a year now, so this is my first presentation, so bear with me. I'm a little nervous this morning. I brought our entire leadership team at 63rd District Court with me today. We have Matthew Mapes, who is my deputy court administrator. We have Nicole Brown, who is my chief probation officer, and Kara DL, who is my case manager for the entire case management of our court system. So I want to thank you for your time this morning and also for your continuous support of court operations. A little bit about 63rd District Court. We are the only Kent County funded district court in the county. We're one of 5 district courts here. We have exclusive jurisdiction over civil suits that involve $25,000 or less, criminal misdemeanors that are punishable to up to a year or less. We also have civil infractions, traffic violations, landlord-tenant disputes, land forfeiture hearings, and we also have small claims for up to $6,500, and also we perform civil marriage ceremonies. District Court is also where all of the criminal proceedings in the adult system begin. So we have jurisdiction to issue arrest warrants, summons, set bail, conduct misdemeanor and felony arraignments, conduct felony probable cause conferences, felony preliminary exams, also pretrial hearings, and, well, that's it. I would also like to say that you guys feel free to stop me and ask questions at any time. So this is a little bit about my presentation today, just kind of a roadmap to what we'll be going over this morning. 63rd, as a Kent County department, is committed to be an elite organization, especially among trial courts in Michigan. And we are able to achieve this through the strategic alignment that was set up by the Kent County Board of Commissioners. And that has helped our leadership to develop innovation and creative ways to serve the public and also make sure we're meeting our state court administrative office standards when it comes to filing and also providing that best possible service to not only our staff at the court and for the public. Okay, so 63rd District Court is a county-funded independent branch of government that is committed to the prompt and courteous fair dispensation of justice, and we do all of that while being stewards and responsible stewards of public funds. As you can see from the PowerPoint here, we have different strategic goals that we set out for all of the departments at 63rd District Court. For our criminal and our civil divisions, really our main focus is timely processing and making sure cases are adjudicated in a timely manner. And although the pandemic has caused that to be a challenge for us, we are really getting back on track to making sure we are meeting those standards. For our probation department, we focus on offender recidivism and compliance, community safety, and also successful completion, meeting individuals' needs who are on probation. And for our traffic division, that is similar with our criminal and our civil departments. We want to make sure these traffic cases are taken care of and adjudicated in a timely manner. As I've mentioned, the court has been in the recovery phase of the pandemic, and our court staff and judges have worked tirelessly to get our dockets back up to par, and I'm happy to report that we expect to be back to pre-pandemic backlogs all taken care of and pre-pandemic operations by the end of this year into early 2023. Okay, one of the most important things I believe that our court focuses on is excellence in service delivery. Our leadership has made it a priority to adopt innovative ways to deliver service and maximize efficiency. This is a chart here for our probation department, and as you can tell, our probation department, even through the pandemic, has seen an uprise of successful completions of our probation, whether that's a year or sometimes we have probationers on for 2 years. But we're really impressed, even through the pandemic, that our success rates continue to climb. I also would like to kind of give a little shout out to my chief probation officer here, Nicole. She has worked very hard on developing innovative ways to make our probation department more accessible through the pandemic. We have created Zoom appointments for qualified probationers. That way they don't have to make the trip all the way to 63rd and they can meet with their probationer via Zoom. We've also, as the pandemic caused quite a big issue in our community for drug testing and different things that are required for people on probation, we have started to do on-site drug testing more frequently, which is more convenient for our probationers, as we've had a lot of different businesses shut down, so the court has really panicked to figure out what to do to meet those standards that are required by law. We also have purchased software for our probation department in 2022 that has allowed us to look at digitization of all court records. So that's a big initiative for Matt and I, that we get everything digitized, as many courts have across the state. And so we're trying to kind of implement that within our probation department to see how that goes. Another key importance for all courts is that our case resolution is done in a timely manner. And although, as you can tell from the graph, the pandemic has wreaked havoc on some of our numbers and being able to get those adjudicated in a timely manner. As I said earlier, we are on track, and I'm very proud to say that. I think we're maybe one of the few courts in the county that has really taken care of the backlog and gotten things moving. And that's, again, a testament to our judges and our court staff. We've also looked at different ways in order to do that, and we were able to really do that because we applied and were granted a grant funding from the Michigan State Police, a coronavirus supplemental funding, that awarded our court over $37,000 to help with backlog. So we had extra income for overtime to pay staff in order to work on those backlogged cases. That also grant provided funds to purchase that probation software that I was just mentioning, and also funds for technology upgrades, laptop purchases. So we've really made it a point to look everywhere to get as much funding as we can to try to kind of get over the pandemic and move forward. So I'm really happy to get to this slide this morning. We have had a significant amount of really exciting things that we've been working on at 63rd. First and foremost, we have officially received funding for our recovery court, which is a hybrid drug sobriety court that we are now able to offer our court visitors and actually all citizens of Kent County. We were one of the few courts, for as large as we are, that didn't already operate a specialty court, so that's really exciting that we've been able to do that. Last year we were granted a planning grant So we've used those funds to hire a consultant, to create and build the program, to do all of the legwork when it came to the legal side of things. And actually in July of 2022, we were able to go live. So currently we have started the program. We have 3 participants that have been accepted into the program. I believe one will be pleading into the program tomorrow, and we have 2 or 3 more anticipated to be entering in the next month or 2. So the program is anticipated for 30 to 40 people. So we're going to work our way up. It'll take a little while to get to that, but we're excited that we're up and running in this time. So we've applied for an operational grant, which is the next step in funding for a specialty court, and we should hear any time about what that funding looks like. So we were hoping to hear before the presentation today, but we probably won't hear till the end of the month. The second thing that we've really been working on at our court, the Michigan Supreme Court has ordered all trial courts to hold summary proceedings kind of 2 to 3 times more than we were before for landlord-tenant cases due to the pandemic. And so our court has worked with a lot of community partners, legal aid, Salvation Army, in order to get qualified applicants conditional dismissals and get them applied for the funding in order to cover their back rent, so then they were not displaced from their homes. We are very excited to say that with this, we have worked with the counties to provide over $47 million of SARA funding to help those that would normally come to our court and lose their properties. The last thing that I'm really excited to tell you is that 63rd has launched its own victim impact panel. So I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with the Victim Impact Panel, but 61st District Court used to hold this in person. Due to the pandemic, they went to virtual services, and through the last few years, virtual services are great, but definitely not as impactful as seeing and talking to speakers and victims and offenders of drug driving. So we decided, after speaking with 61st, who said that they were not going to continue an in-person service, we decided to take on that role. In fall last year, we've launched our own Victim Impact Panel. We hold it once a month in the evenings and once a month during the daytimes. And it's a 2-part seminar. The first part is educational, talks about statistics, the harmful effects of drugs and alcohol on the body, and also the dangers of driving while doing so. And the second part is a chance for speakers. We currently have speakers. We have a speaker that was a drunk driver himself and completely had significant physical injury from his accident. He comes in and speaks. We also have victims. We have a sister that has, her sister was killed in a drunk driving. She comes and talks to the panel. We also have somebody at our court that was on probation that comes and speaks about his death and revival from Narcan after a drug overdose while driving. So we've brought those people in to talk to our offenders, and so far that has been going well. Also, I feel it's very important to reach young people in these matters, and with the pandemic, really a lot of those educational seminars that schools used to have frequently haven't happened in a while. So in the spring of this year, we were able to bring it into Forest Hills Eastern. We brought our panel, our court staff, and we really held what we would do at the courthouse, a victim impact panel for juniors and seniors at Forest Hills Eastern and at Northview. So it's been a really great thing, a way for the court to connect with the community in different ways. So we are trying to get away from the general stigma of what courts are and to just kind of start a conversation, if nothing else, with people that may not have a normal experience with the court. Okay, so a look ahead. E-filing is a big initiative right now for Matt and I. I have had conversations with the State Court Administrator's Office about getting our civil department into their e-filing system. We're waiting to hear if they've selected our court to do so for the spring of 2023. And aside from that, we are also in talks with other county courts about maybe doing our own e-filing system, because we just see that this is the way of the future, and we want to make sure that we're ahead of the game. We've known several other district courts that are completely electronic, and that provides so much more flexibility when it comes to staff, when it comes to court visitors. So we're really looking forward to trying to get all of these technology upgrades for our court so that we're able to do that. And as I've mentioned, our other exciting thing is this operational grant for our specialty court. Continue to grow our court and provide that service to the community that we've not been able to at 63rd for all of these years. So we're really exciting. We're hoping to hear about our funding soon. We've requested a lot of money from the Drug Court of Michigan and also from the Office of Highway Safety Planning. So as I said, we should hear that hopefully by this month. And that was it. That was way better than I expected to go, so I'm sorry if it's been really fast, but thank you again for your time, and we like having the relationship we do. As we know, we're a separate entity, but we appreciate your time and support.
Thank you. That was just the right amount of time. So are there any questions or comments for Danielle? Commissioner Coleman.
Let's see if I can operate this system here. So I'm curious, the Victim Impact Panel, that sounds like an awesome program. Is that something you've thought of expanding to like other school districts to be able to provide that perspective to our high school students, I assume?
Yes, absolutely. One of our probation officers is really the face of the Victim Impact Panel, so he's worked with schools. I know he's in talks with KCTC, so that is a nice, because it involves all high schools around here, and it's right across the street. So yes, we are hoping to talk through the fall around homecoming, and then again, get some things scheduled for the spring to do this for prom. So just a service that I think is so greatly needed, and they've had a few doing this actually at Forest Hills Eastern. When we went there, they were disappointed because they've had a few other programs and they haven't been able to do that in a couple of years. So I know they've asked us to come back in the spring.
Thanks. Any other questions or comments? You guys are a quiet bunch this morning.
That's okay. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. If there's anything else, we'll definitely reach out to you directly.
Yes, thank you all so much for your time.
All right. Our next item on the agenda comes from the Administrator's Office, and it's regarding purchase development rights selection criteria for 2023.
Action requested. Recommend to the Board of Commissioners to approve the 2023 Kent County Purchase of Development Rights Selection Criteria. The Purchase of Development Rights, or PDR ordinance, adopted by the Board of Commissioners in 2002, established procedures for the administration of the PDR program and mandated annual Board of Commissioners approval of the selection criteria. At their June 1, 2022 meeting, the Agricultural Preservation Board approved the selection criteria to be used to rank and prioritize PDR applications and recommended their adoption by the Board of Commissioners. Due to intense competition for limited state and federal funding, the Agricultural Preservation Board recommends instituting a minimum landowner contribution of 21% and adjusting the points for higher donations. This will allow for applications to score higher in federal and state grants. The Agricultural Preservation Board intends to seek funding in 2023 to preserve qualifying farmland through the PDR application process from various sources, including landowner donations, township contributions, and grants from the Michigan Agricultural Preservation Fund, the USDA Agricultural Conservation Easement Program, and USDA Regional Conservation Partnership Program. The County General Fund is not used to make or supplement PDR easement purchases.
All right. Thank you. Is there a motion on this item?
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hennessy, supported by Commissioner Skaggs. All right. Questions or comments regarding this particular item? Commissioner Coleman.
Thank you, Chair. Most of you have heard me give this spiel before voting on this, but you've never heard it in this particular chamber. So I'll be voting no because I'm opposed to the structure of the existing PDR program. I think it's a flawed idea to think that, we can say that a farm is the best possible use for that particular property in 300, 400 years from now. And secondarily, some of the tillable land requirements under the existing PDR, like if I purchased the farm right next to my house and wanted to just let it become, a forest again, and it was in the PDR program, I couldn't do that. Like it's not allowed to take it back to its truly natural state. So because of that, I'll be voting against this, but I do want to commend Matt Channing. I think does an extraordinarily good job administering the details of this program, and I'm sure these scoring changes and recommendations are well thought through under his leadership there. So I just wanted to add that thought as well. Thank you.
All right, any other questions or comments? Commissioner Hennessy.
I do support this proposal, this resolution here, because what I like about this is that every year we're reevaluating what the criteria is. So that in itself is a very dynamic type of involvement in making sure that the PDR program remains vital, current, applicable to what the current situation is.
All right, any other questions or comments? I do have a question. Could you, Matt, explain if there's any changes in the selection criteria from previous years?
Test. I can't speak to the rate of permutations that went through before I came here in 2020, but I took my 2020 freshman year to see how we did, and then I've been tweaking it, as Commissioner Nancy said, every year since then. So the only difference between this year and previous years are twofold. One, we are asking them to verify if they have a succession plan in place, knowing that we won't preserve most farms, but if they can just get to the next generation, we've sort of done our job in a holding pattern. The second is adjusting the points allowed for the landowner match, and that's an amazing tool for us to score better on both footings with the state and the federal government. So those are the two changes. In comparison to last year, those changes would not have affected the top 3 scoring applications anyway, so the impact won't be that dramatic for the ones we would already apply to our grants with.
Okay, how many properties per year have you seen in the last couple years?
About 8.
There's like 8 applications per year? Okay.
Yeah, and the rough average is 100 acres per application.
Okay, all right. Any other questions or comments? Commissioner Skaggs.
Just to clarify, when a deed restriction is put in, does that actually force people to farm, or is the land able to go into its natural state?
It needs to be kept in a tillable farm-ready state. So typically that means actively farmed, but would it have to be, there couldn't be any obstructions to the farm, and so we would have to maintain, as Commissioner Collin pointed out, a certain level of readiness.
Okay, but there's no forced farming.
There's no forced farming. That's a level the government doesn't want to get to.
Any other questions or comments? All right, let's move this to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
All right, motion passes. Let me get back to my agenda here. Next item on the agenda is miscellaneous. So is there any Commissioner miscellaneous? Seeing none, oh, Commissioner Coleman.
So maybe I haven't been paying attention, but I know the county chambers are getting some kind of renovation. Well, we have a few spare minutes. What's happening over there?
Sure. Well, we are adding 2 seats to the table for 21 commissioners and replacing the carpet that predates my first time at Kent County. And also the walls should look a little bit better too. We're kind of reorganizing the photos of prior board chairs to be stacked. It will look much nicer, but this isn't a lot of dramatic change because we're very much almost on the cusp of recommending a different facility alignment in the future and construction of a new county facility and reshuffling what we do downtown a little bit. So, and then also the room will be, soon you'll be going paperless. And so, as you know, Kaylee's ordered laptops for each of the board members, and that will be a nice addition for you, I think, and for staff to make things work more smoothly. So,
Awesome, thank you.
and all to be done in 1 week, so not bad.
Perfect. Any other questions or comments? I just want to remind you to ask your constituents to apply for the county boards and committees. We've gotten quite a few applicants, but I believe there still might be a couple open opportunities. So if you have someone in mind who would be interested in serving the community, please recommend them to apply. And
I have one other thing.
yeah, go ahead, Al.
We had our first quadrant meeting yesterday, and we had a decent turnout and a good program, so I'd encourage you to check your calendars and come out to those as you can. Thanks.
Thanks. All right, we are adjourned. Our next meeting will be September 27 at 8:30 a.m. in the county boardroom. Thanks.